Hello, welcome. Okay, we're gonna go over the Swan, and we are gonna go over how to set up the Swan. Okay, so we'll start with the Swan itself before we actually set it up. Okay, so when you get your Swan patient, make sure that both sides are locked. I don't know if you can see here, but O means open, it's unlocked, and then this has got a bunch of tape on it and stuff. So there should be like a line there. That means it's locked. Should be the same for the other side. The O means unlocked, and then the line means locked. How you measure your Swan. I always like to start from this side and work my way in, is what I do. So I start from the end, and this great big thick line right here is 50. And this next line would be 60, 70, 80. So right here, this measurement, it would be 80 centimeters. This next one is 50, 60, 70. This is 70 centimeters. And then this is 50, 60. But you want to measure from the insertion site, what the actual insertion site is on the patient. Pretend that's a patient. So if this is 50, 60, and we're going back this way, would be 50. I would say maybe this is 51, measuring at 51 centimeters, 52 maybe, just because we can't see the next thick line. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about these things. So the balloon. One of the first things I do when I get a Swan is I make sure that the balloon, I make sure that this is locked. So when they do not line up, that means it's locked. But one of the first things I do is unlock it, pull back, make sure that there's no air in it, and there should not be, and then lock it like that. And then you'll be able to see if there's any air in it, or if there was not any air in it, and there should not be. Okay, next we have your filament ports. These get screwed into the Swan cables that come with the Swan. And this gets plugged into one of the cables that also comes with the Swan. We will get into that when we look at our setup. The next is the different lumens that we have. So this is your PA lumen. This is the most distal. This will obviously will sit in your pulmonary artery. Your next two lumens that you have are your VIP port, which can serve as another infusion port, and your CVP. These two both terminate in your right atrium, which is why you are able to infuse drips into them. And this, obviously, you can also get your CVP through this blue one. Okay, so when you get your Swan patient back from the cath lab or wherever they're coming from, and you have your Swan, this is you need this box and these two cords for the actual Swan. Okay, these cords, they look like this. Brown end goes in there, and these two filament cables get connected here and here. The next cable that you need is this one, and this gets plugged in like that. Just go ahead and okay, it appears that this one is broken, but this one you plug in, and then this one actually screws on. So remember that when you're removing them, don't just yank on it. It actually unscrews. Okay, next you're gonna go over. Okay, now we're gonna put patient information in, okay? I'm gonna make myself be really skinny.
That's okay.
Summer, age 29, height 167. Let's be 120 pounds. Okay, all right. Female, next. You're gonna hit the invasive one, which it probably is already highlighted. I think it defaults to that, and then you hit proceed to setup. Okay. So with the new monitor, mind ray monitors that we have, you're able to kind of slave your Swan numbers to the monitor, and then you should be able to DAS them in the computer. You just want to make sure that you are DASing the correct ones, like if they're inaccurate or they're not inaccurate. So you're gonna need this brick, okay? CCO, SVO2, and then it should be blue here. And then you need the cable that goes with it. Obviously it's the blue cable, and it connects to the back of the monitor, and it looks like this whole jazz back here. This cable should be on the Swan at all times. It should, but that doesn't mean that it's going to, but it should. So again, you don't necessarily need this to set up the Swan, but it's nice to have. So just put your brick in. And then we'll plug that in. And then whether you have calibrated it or not yet, you should be able to see like the CCO, SVR, SVRI, and all these things. So it should be, you should be able to see them on your monitor. Okay, just a quick recap. We'll go over our cables. So you need this guy, okay? Need this thing. It plugs into the side here, okay? And this goes like this. Okay. And this is obviously part of the Swan. Okay. And then your filament cables. I'm not going to fully undo this one because it's broken. So, and I barely got it on. So these filament cables should plug in here. Okay. This is like the white or the gray one. And then this is the blue one. Okay. The blue one, it just comes undone like this. The white one has a screw off. So you screw this off first and then you pull apart. Okay. So what these cables look like, obviously these two break off into that to plug into your filament cables, and then it connects to the side here, okay? And then you need this cable, okay, to plug in here, okay? All right, now we will go over zeroing the lines. I always zero my lines first before I calibrate. That's just how I do it. We've run into some problems with zeroing on the monitor first, or just zeroing on the monitor. So we should probably zero on here because it will not work sometimes if you zero on the monitor. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. So zeroing, your screen will pop up like this after you put all your information in it. And then you hit this guy and you'll get a waveform here. And then you hit 0 here, okay? All right, and then just to get back to your home screen, you just hit the house here. Okay, now we're gonna go over the calibration part of it, okay? So, you go to Settings, Venus Oximetry Calibration, click on that guy, and then you're gonna hit In Vivo Calibration. And it will give you an option to hit Draw, and then it'll go through like 25 seconds. Draw your mixed venous, which we'll go over that here right now. So you're gonna draw from your PA, okay? This will be hooked to pressure. You'll have a stopcock on it, but you're gonna draw back slowly with 5 mLs of waste, okay? And then you're gonna draw then you're going to draw your mixed venous, okay? You can draw that back slowly. You really only need like 1, maybe 2 mLs. You really don't need a whole lot, okay? And then don't ever let blood sit in here because this will clot off very quickly. So immediately, I don't have it hooked to pressure, but flush it for like 20 seconds sometimes until you clear the blood out of this tubing, okay? And then you're gonna go run your mixed venous on the rapid point, and then you'll get your numbers back, and then you come back here to the screen, and you're gonna type in your hemoglobin. Let's say it's 9.5, okay? You'll automatically get your hematocrit here, okay? And let's say your SVO2 is 60%, and then hit calibrate. Okay, so it'll give you your SVO2, and it should give you a cardiac index and cardiac output. So you can go back to the home screen, and it should give you your numbers.